All I do is win.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money.
The vibration I walk in is winning. It is my default frequency. I didn't realize it, but ever since I was a kid, I was always naturally programming myself to be the best, to be a winner. I was always one of the best players on any team that I played on, no matter what the sport was, if I wasn't the best player. By the time I was 14, I had already won a gold medal in the 4x100 at the Penn Relays. And now that I'm older, obviously it's transferred over into my older years of life, and I'm still winning. And recently, I've been mulling over the idea of the winner's mindset. What makes people continuously win? And I'm getting ready to get into my latest win that I had. I just shared with you guys last week a recent victory, and I'm getting ready to share with you guys an even bigger victory that I've been fighting with or dealing with over the past few years. Here's another story time. For those of you that don't know, I've been in real estate for quite some time. Earlier this week, my partner and I went to the attorney's office to sign off on some closing paperwork for a lawsuit that we had won that we have been battling for years. Over a year ago, we were supposed to go to court for a week straight, but we ended up only going to court for about 2 or 3 days only because the judge had heard enough information. And the crazy thing is the last day of court, the fire alarm went off. So we didn't even have a full day of court and we got to leave early. This whole situation really had nothing to do with me. I was just a trustee on the properties. And so they named me figuring, oh, maybe I have something to do with this situation. But I personally did not do any deal making or handshaking. I'm not really going to go into the details because of confidential reasons on what happened. But fast forward, my partner and I showed up at the attorney's office to sign a joint stipulation in satisfaction of judgment, which reads like this. You guys can pause and read this if you want. This is just the companies and the properties that were involved, and that's why they're blocked out to keep it confidential. And then obviously at the bottom, you can see my name, Marvin Daniels, as a trustee. And then you see the property is blanked out. And then on this page, you see that what I got blanked out at the top are the amounts, the fees, and the damages, and then the total amount. I got all of that blanked out. And then obviously right here at the bottom, you see this is just my signature and my partner's signature and the law firm and all that other type of stuff that was crossed out again for confidential reasons. Yes, we won a lot of money. We could have won 4 times the amount, but my partner, he has a good heart and is a good person and didn't want to cause severe punishment. I said, you better than me, because Michelle Obama has that saying, when they go low, we go high.
Our motto is, when they go low, we go high.
I said, hell no. I said, when they go low, we take their ass to the basement. But you want to know what the other manifestation is inside of this manifestation of winning? All of these years, I didn't have to pay any court fees. I'm showing you guys this to only show you all that I'm manifesting in real time. In back-to-back weeks, I have made videos now detailing me going through serious situations and the outcome of these serious situations. So you can see in real time, I'm not bluffing. This is real. I have receipts. I really feel like Jay-Z right now.
Cops wanna knock me, DA wanna box me in, but somehow I beat them charges like Rocky.
Yo, low-key, I'm really starting to feel like Donald Trump beating both of these cases back to back.
The fake charges put forth in their sham indictment are an outrageous criminalization of political speech.
I'll testify.
You testify to that under oath?
It's a fake charge.
But again, to my earlier point, the mindset of a winner. What makes people continuously win time and time and time again, no matter what they do, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in business, whether it's in whatever, whether it's in a lawsuit, what makes people win? And you know what it is? It's the expectancy of winning. You see, throughout my entire life, I go into situations, I go into games, if I'm playing a sport or whatever it is, I go into business, I go into whatever it is that I'm doing, expecting to win. It is a muscle of mine that I have developed throughout my entire life to where the instincts of winning is just natural. It's second nature. So when it comes to manifestation, I apply it in the same manner. And whatever it is that I am manifesting, I expect to win. I expect to see my manifestation. You don't have to necessarily be in that state living in the end of the wish fulfilled. You don't have to necessarily do all of that. Emil Quay talks about this. A lot of the great teachers talk about this. Expectancy is enough in order to bring something into your reality. If you expect to win the lottery, if you expect to be rich, if you expect to be in the greatest relationship ever, you expect these things 100% will still come into your reality. So when I'm faced with these big mountains, like I spoke about in my last video, I still expect to win. I don't care what it is. I have another story I haven't even shared with you guys. A few years back, I got a letter in the mail from the IRS saying I owed basically $1 million. So the same question I asked you guys in my last video, I'm going to ask you guys in this video, how would you respond to that when you get those types of letters in the mail saying you owe that kind of money? How are you going to respond when you are faced with, like my video last week when I told you guys that they were telling me that I owed over $10,000 and they wanted me to pay that back? How would you react when you were going through, like I just told you in this video, the lawsuit that I have been dealing with over the past few years? These are all real life examples that I'm showing you guys in real time of the potential pressures, the potential stresses that people are going through, that I've gone through, but I don't look at it like that. I don't look at these things as stresses. I don't look at these things as big mountains. I look at these things as these are character building moments. When problems, quote unquote problems or mountains show up in my life, I look at these and I say to myself, you have another character building moment, Marv. What are you going to do? How is this going to build your character? That's how I approach it. I don't look at it like, oh, it's the end of the world. I'm so stressed. How I'm going to deal with this. I never look at problems that way. I always live in peace whenever my problems show up because I'm not worried, because I know the battle is already won. It is finished. And this is why I mentioned in my last video, you need to build that muscle. So when these things show up, like lawsuits or whatever the case might be, you have the tools to be able to take this head on. Because you see, the thing is I noticed for a lot of people, when you decree a thing in this 3D world, as Neville would say, decree a thing, I noticed that the universe seems to test a lot of people once they decree a thing. What do I mean by that? If you, for instance, decree that you are the best at something, the universe, a lot of times, is going to throw tests at you to prove that you really are the best at that thing. If you say you're the baddest man on the planet, or you're the baddest woman on the planet, nobody can touch you as a fighter, the universe is going to throw things your way to prove to you, oh, are you really the baddest fighter on this planet? Let's see if you can beat this test. Okay, beat this test. Okay, yeah, you are the baddest man on the planet. If you say, oh, I'm the richest person on this planet, nobody's richer than me, the universe is going to throw tests at you a lot of times to prove, are you really the richest man on the planet? Let's see if you can continue to decree that once this test is thrown right in your face. The funny thing is, in a reverse psychology type of way, and it's really weird in a weird type of way, when the universe throws you problems, you should rejoice, because on the other side of that problem is victory. When you see a problem, you should know, oh shit, I'm super close to winning this mountain. I'm super close to climbing this mountain and getting what I want. Because that test essentially is the universe testing you, saying, I want to see how resilient you are. Oh, you said that your SP is going to come back? All right, well, I'm going to throw this in your face and see how you react. And when you pass the test, when you react the right way in the 3D, that's when the 3D is going to conform to whatever your state is. The thing is, a lot of times is people don't pass the test in real time in the 3D. They don't realize it and they don't look at it that way. So they fail the test and then they keep failing the test. And they got to go through that same lesson however many times it might take them. And of course, you know, I have to always use my favorite N-word, nuance. This stuff is extremely nuanced because I can hear the Neville people right now, or the robotic affirming people, saying,
oh, there is no test. Life doesn't test you. Yada, yada, yada. If it's a test, it's because you're making it a test. Yada, yada, yada.
I understand all of that. I'm talking about for everybody overall in general. There's no such thing as, oh, everything is going to be this way for everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody's at different levels of consciousness. Everything that I'm saying right now, this will 1,000,000% resonate with people around the world. What I'm saying right now, it might not resonate with you. You might not be at that level of consciousness, but then that means this message is not for you. So miss me with all the bullshit. Also, a realization, along with proving to the universe that you are what you decree to be, it also shows you you don't know how stuff is going to show up. For instance, when we affirm for things, when we affirm for money, I have money affirmations. I've been affirming for money. And look how this money showed up. I had no idea it was going to take this long, or the money was going to come from this situation in particular, but it did. Why did it? Because of the 4 steps. Decree a thing, the universe tests you, you pass the test, you get your manifestation. So like I've always said to you guys, and like I've said in past videos, have fun with this. Look at this like a game. Right now, you guys have decreed a thing. Many of you that I've worked with, many of you that Tim have worked with, you have decreed a thing. You have decreed your SP is coming back. You have decreed that you want your SP. Most of you guys are in a second stage right now, that stage of being tested. Now, whether you shift your mind from there is no such thing as a test, everything that I want comes easily, etc., that's dependent upon you, your state of consciousness, and whatever causes resistance or what doesn't cause resistance. But most of you guys are at that second stage right now when it comes to your SP. And you guys are not passing the test, a lot of you, because you keep questioning yourself. You keep asking this, you keep asking that. People say things like, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z with my manifestation. Hey, I did this with my SP visualization or my affirmations. Do I need to do anything else? The very fact of you asking those types of questions lets us know that you're not living in the end. Because if you were really living in the end, you wouldn't even be asking those questions. Something I've told you guys in past videos, when you react in the 3D to whatever you're going through, situation or circumstances, as the old man, you're essentially not passing the test. I always tell people that I work with one-on-one, how would you react if you were the person that you wanted to be 5-10 years from now? How would that person that has all the money, that has the looks, that has the wealth, that has whatever, how would they act, talk, speak, whatever? How would they do that? You need to do that now in the 3D, currently, in the present moment. That's how you pass the test that you're given. But the problem is when the test shows up, most people react like the old man. Most people panic. They don't know what to do because they're not being and acting as the new person. They're not dying daily. And like the Bible says, you can't serve two masters. You can't serve wealth and then serve poverty. The issue a lot of us run into is a lot of us, we are serving two masters. We might say out loud, I am rich or I am whatever, but on the inside, internally, we don't feel that way. We don't feel rich. So our feelings are communicating a different story than what's coming out of our mouths. And as we know, feeling is the secret. Feelings is what really matters, what really causes the manifestation to happen because of our heart energy, because of our hearts are up to 5,000 times more magnetic than the brain is. It's a lot easier than many of us realize. As I always say, it's easier said than done, but it really is a lot easier than most of us realize to make this stuff work in the 3D. Whenever you're faced with a problem in the 3D, just know that whatever you normally would do the exact opposite. And that's how you will start passing these tests in the 3D.